Hello, my name is Dante Whitfield and I'm a Network Operations Center technician here at Hivelocity Hosting.
And my name is Timothy. I am a Systems Administrator at Hivelocity Hosting. Whether you've recently purchased a VPS device with us or you are simply exploring our services, we appreciate your interest.
Today, what we're going to be doing is we'll delve into the fundamental security aspects of Unix-based operating systems that center around our new VPS platform. Some of the topics include user account security, SSH authentication, software firewalls, automatic updates, and antivirus considerations. Configuring a secure authentication method is one of the most important parts of securing your new system on the web. The first option is to configure a long password consisting of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. However, even stronger than a password will be setting up public key authentication. In this next demonstration, we'll go into both methods and give you the details on how to do this with your new VPS system.
To change the password on your VPS device, you will need to have the existing password. Once your VPS has been deployed, the credentials will be posted on your MyVelocity page, as shown here. This will only be shown for 7 days after deployment, so please keep this in a secure place or change the password soon after you receive your device. I'm now going to demonstrate changing your password on the VPS device. First, I'm going to SSH into the device using the command that was given on our temporary credentials. And I'm going to paste in our temporary password. Now I'm going to type in the password command, which will then prompt you to enter in the new password twice. And as it says, our new password has been set successfully.
Next, we will go over adding a standard user account and disabling SSH for the root login account. The reason why this is done is because root is the most commonly and easily guessed username and has unrestricted rights within the operating system.
We will now create a user called HV user and give them sudo rights. Currently, we're logged onto our VPS device as root. We're going to add a new user using this command, add user, HV_user. HV_user is our new username, and we're going to hit enter. This will prompt us to set a new password for that user. We're going to put that in twice here. Next, the system will prompt us for some demographic information, which is optional, and we can leave out for now. And now we're going to confirm that information is correct and give the OK to create this new user. And now we're going to add this user to the sudoers group with this command. And hit enter, and now this user is part of the sudoers group. Finally, we will be disabling root login via SSH. We will do this by modifying the etc ssh sshd_config file. To do that, we're going to use nano. And we're going to scroll down to the line that says permit root login. We're going to uncomment that, and we're going to change yes to no. Next, we're going to do Control X to exit, yes to save, and enter to confirm the file name. Finally, to make our changes, we will need to restart the SSHD daemon. We can do this by typing systemctl restart SSHD. Hit enter, and SSH is no longer permitting root login.
Next, we'll demonstrate configuring public key authentication for our new user. Public key authentication is based on a public-private key pair. The private key resides only on the device which you will connect from, and the public key resides on the device you are connecting to.
We will first start by generating a new SSH key on my local machine. Using my local terminal here, I'm going to type in SSH-keygen, which will then generate a new private-public key pair for me. I'm going to accept the default location, and I'm going to enter in a passphrase to prevent unauthorized users from using my private key. And now my private and public key pair has been generated. Next, I'm going to copy this over to our VPS device with the following command, SSH copy ID, HV_user at my IP address. And it's now going to prompt me for the user's password. And now the key has been successfully added to the machine. After configuring this new SSH key, I'm going to require the key to log into the device and prevent password login. To do this, I'm once again on my VPS device's terminal, and I'm going to edit the etc sshd_config file. I'm now going to look up the password term and finding the line for password authentication. I'm going to change that from yes to no. In addition, on some of our VPS deployments, there will be additional configuration files under the sshd_config.d folder. To do this, I'm now going to navigate to that directory and edit the 50 cloud init file. We see here that password authentication is still set to yes here. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this out now. After that's been saved, I'm now going to restart the SSHD daemon. And now our changes should now be in effect.
By default, your VPS device will come with SSH enabled on port number 22. We can check this by running the command netstat-tulpn. So what we'll do is go to our terminal and we'll run the command. As you can see, the device is currently listening on port number 22. Leaving SSH open on this port leaves us vulnerable and susceptible to brute force attacks and port scanner bots. We can quickly change this by modifying the SSH configuration file. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our terminal, and the command we will run is this command right here. So the next step will be uncommenting the current port that SSH is listening on. So what we'll do while we're in our SSH configuration file is we'll go down to where the port is at, we'll uncomment it, and then we can type in any port that we desire. And in my case, I'm going to use port 22222. Now, our next step will be pressing Control X and then Y in order to save the current changes on this configuration file, and then enter. After this, we'll have to restart SSH. So we'll restart SSH by typing this command in. So we successfully restarted SSH. So now what we'll do is go back and check to see which port SSH is now listening on. So we'll run the same command. And as you can see, the port that SSH is now listening on is 22222, the port that we recently changed. To further ensure that ports are not unintentionally left open to others on the internet, we'll configure the firewall. In Ubuntu, the default firewall manager package is UFW, which controls the underlying IP table rules. In other distributions, you may only have IP tables. And in WHM and cPanel installations, CSF will be the default firewall manager.
If you are using IPv6 on your VPS device, we will need to configure it in the UFW configuration. If you are not using IPv6, please feel free to skip a few seconds ahead. To configure UFW with IPv6, we will be editing the default UFW file. We're going to go down to the IPv6 line, uncomment it, and change it to yes, and then save our file. We will next set the default rules by typing in the following commands: sudo ufw default deny incoming, and sudo UFW default allow outgoing. This by default denies all inbound traffic on any ports and allows all outbound traffic on any ports. Next, we will need to allow our custom SSH port 22222 TCP to the firewall. And at this point, if you have any additional ports you would like open, you should add them as well. Finally, we're going to enable the firewall with the following command, sudo UFW enable. We're going to say yes to go ahead. And now the firewall is active and will be active on future reboots. We can now test this by opening a new console on our local machine, and then we'll use netcat to check the ports. We'll do netcat zv, then our IP address. We'll first check port 22. And after some time, we'll see that this times out. Okay, and now we're going to test out port 22222, which is enabled on the firewall. And we see that this is successful.
Since these VPS devices are publicly accessible on the internet, it is good practice to ensure that updates are regularly installed. You may or may not have software dependencies that require certain versions of software. So, please evaluate whether automatic updates should be used in your specific configuration on your VPS device.
To enable automatic updates, we will be installing the unattended upgrades package. To do this, I'm going to type in sudo apt install unattended upgrades and hit enter. Give it a moment. And keep in mind that on Ubuntu, this is already installed by default. However, other distributions may not have this package installed yet. Now that this is done, we can check if the service is active. Typing sudo systemctl status unattended upgrades. And we can see here that it's currently running. Finally, we will enable automatic updating by modifying the 20 auto updates file. In this file, we currently have automatic updating of the package lists as well as upgrades enabled. In order to save space by clearing the download archive every 7 days, we can type in the following line. And then we're going to save this file. We can test if automatic upgrades are working by typing the following. And this shows here which packages are going to be updated and whether any upgrades are currently available.
Finally, we will quickly discuss antiviruses. In the case that you are installing WHM or cPanel on your VPS device, Immunify 360 can be installed through the WHM dashboard. Immunify 360 is an antivirus that is fully integrated with WHM. On the other hand, if you are not hosting websites on your VPS device or using a different control panel, we can install a program called ClamAV. ClamAV is a standalone antivirus scanner that can be installed on multiple Linux distributions. It can also be configured using cron jobs to run scheduled scans and automatic updates. Furthermore, on-access scanning can be enabled to scan files when you or a program attempts to access a file.
And this concludes our short video tutorial on Unix operating system security on our VPS platform. Thank you for your time.
So, until the next time, please tune in for more videos in regards to our new VPS system and yours as well.